Today we're going to talk about my recent experience with rolling shots. Hey, what's going on YouTube? My name is Mo and I'm a car photographer from Bahrain. If it's your first time around this channel and you'd like to learn all about car photography, go ahead and subscribe now so you don't miss out on all the cool stuff that I create every week. Now before we jump into the tips, I'd like to thank each one of you for all the love, the like, the comments that you leave me on Instagram. And I know a lot of you would love to contribute to support this channel. And so I came up with 3 ways in which you could support me and support my channel. Now the first one is very obvious. Subscribe, like, and comment. That would mean a lot to me. Alright, so the second way that you can support me is share the channel with your friends and family. Let them know that I exist. Now the third way that you could support me and support this channel is by buying one or more of my photos that is available on the Creative Markets website. I'll leave a link to it in the description below. Alright, so I was invited last week to attend the Audi driving experience at the Bahrain International Circuit. And I had a blast experiencing the R8 on the track. It was so thrilling, it was so amazing. Trying to catch up with the pro instructor and the R8 ahead. And the minute I left the R8, I was like, damn, I need to get that car, but I couldn't afford it. Well, maybe in the future. Now, while I was at the track, the dealer principal, Keaton from Audi, asked me if I would be interested in actually getting some rolling shots on the track. And I was like, yeah, of course, I wouldn't miss that opportunity. I would do anything when it comes to photographing really some super awesome cars like the R8. And so I jumped at the back of the SQ5. And by the way, this was my first rolling shot since I have tried it 3 years ago and I failed. And I thought that would be a really good experience for me to try it again. So based on this really recent humble experience, here are my 8 tips for a better car rolling shots. Tip number 1, safety first. Don't underestimate this important point. Neglect this and you will put yourself and others in danger. Now at first, I wanted to go without any straps and the guys from Audi really insisted and strapped me anyway, and thank God they did. I would have been rolling left and right at the corners if they didn't do so. Alright, point number 2, communication. Although it was very brief, I was dealing with professionals who've done it a lot of times. It was just very important to agree on things like speed and the way I'm going to signal left, right, center, and things like that. Tip number 3, the f-stop. I have used an aperture between f11 to f13 for 2 reasons, mainly those that would affect the focus plane. A, I knew I was going with a variable focal length. On the first day, I went ahead with a wide lens, but I felt it was too short. So I swapped that the second day with the 24 to 70, which gave me really a good range between semi-wide and narrow shots. B, the distance between the 2 cars would vary every now and then. So having that f11, f13 will make sure that the focus plane will get everything. C, I wanted to get the background in focus. The blur that I was looking for is a motion blur and not a bokeh blur. Hope that makes sense. Alright, tip number 4, speed. I originally wanted them to go between 60 and 70 miles per hour, but they were really afraid that the trunk door would slam me in the face. So we were averaging about 40 miles an hour for a safer shoot, though I wish we went a bit beyond that. Alright, tip number 5. Slow shutter speed. At the beginning, I was really hesitant pulling down the shutter speed since I only had 1 go to get these shots. So I originally started with a shutter speed of 1/40th of a second for the first day with the RS3 LMS shots. Now the second day I went with a shutter speed of 1/30th of a second for the R8 and I was blown away with the results. I couldn't believe that I got these in focus. And I mainly think it's because the 5-axis image stabilization and the Sony A7rII. Now I could have gone to even lower shutter speeds, but I just didn't want to risk that since I only had 1 go. Alright, tip number 6, set your focus area. Now on the track, the car could be on the left, to the right, or the middle. That means that the focus point would shift back and forth. With the Sony A7rII, I was able to assign a custom button in which I can control the focus point on the go without going into, very complicated settings. And that helped me a lot. It just speeded up the process. Now I could have used the expanded flexible point. That is a function that is available with the Sony cameras that will keep tracking the subject as they move left, right, or front without losing the focus. But I did not experience it before, so I didn't want to risk it on the track. Now tip number 7 is the ISO control. Since I didn't want really to play with the aperture or the shutter speed, because these are fixed to me, I've set a custom button, which was the dial on the A7R II, to be my ISO setting. So if I felt it was underexposed, I would just crank that up. If I felt it's, well, overexposed, I would just like dial it down with just, the dial on the A7R II. So tip number 8, and the last one on the list, is the camera drive mode. I made sure that it's set to continuous high shooting, like bursts. Now the reason that you would want to have that is to make sure that you don't miss the right shot. Whether on a straight lines on corners, taking continuous high-speed shots will ensure that you get the right in-focus shot. Especially if the camera is on a bumpy road and it gets some shakes, or the other car is inconsistent with its speed, or it's changing direction from the left to right, or simply if the camera is out of focus. Having that is very essential. All right, here's a bonus tip. Don't be like me. Don't wait 3 years to get a rolling shot, because I was simply missing a lot. Yes, I did a lot of rolling shots with break shots, but it's not the same. You get a lot of images, different directions, different angles. And yes, you can do that with a rig shot, but the rig shot is just not flexible as the car rolling shots. You will need to adjust all the equipments back and forth, move the booms and stuff like that. It's just like, it's crazy. Don't be afraid of failing. Now, if I haven't tried that on the track, I wouldn't have shot such an amazing shots, really. So hats off to Keaton and Bahrain Audi team. You guys are amazing. Thank you for the amazing experience. And I can't wait to do it all over again. All right, YouTube, that was it for this video. Now, if you have any questions, please leave me a comment in the comment section below. Don't forget to follow me on Instagram, like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.